Hey, everybody.
Hello.
So I don't think I've ever had a co-host for a movie review
No,
for in theaters, but Russ and I went and saw Ready Player One.
we did.
I had read the book previously. I think Russ had just started the book.
I have just started the book, so.
Uh, we'll do spoiler free first and then spoiler, because that's just polite. First of all, I really liked the book. Can I just say, for some reason, there is a very vocal group of people who just hate the book, and I don't get that.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have a lot of vitriol to spew about this book. It's entertaining. It's good. Is it the great American novel? Is it a rich piece of art? No, it's fun and entertaining. It's a decent story, told well, and it has a lot of 80s pop culture references, which are nice, but it's not. People say that that's all it is, and it's not. There's a decent
Yeah.
story
The
there
movie
too.
had a decent story anyway.
So I liked the book. Going into the movie, I was planning to like the movie because I liked the book, and I refuse to apologize for liking the book. It's a fun read. Screw you. And then we went and saw the movie, and I'll say that the movie shares the basic plot and the characters of the book, but the actual story progression is very, very different. So even if you've read the book, this is not the story you're getting. It's the same overall arc, right? The beginning and the end are roughly the same, and one or two events in the middle are the same, but most of what happens in the Oasis is very different. So I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was very entertaining.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was good. For those who know nothing about Ready Player One, the idea is that set in the future, there is a virtual reality MMO that kind of is ubiquitous. Everybody plays this thing because reality kind of sucks. So everybody spends most of their time plugged into the game. So much so that in-game currency is kind of accepted out of game. It has become the world, this game. And the guy who created it loved, in the book, he loved the 80s.
Yeah.
In the movie, it was everything from the 80s to today.
Yeah. In the movie, my understanding is that that was the time that he specifically loved, but there's all this user-created content that is just whatever
Well, sure.
pop culture thing that everybody loves.
Yeah, just in the book, the 80s was more. Because it's set in 2045, the idea was. So, this guy created this game and then he died, and before he died, he announces he has hidden an Easter egg in the game, and the first person to find the Easter egg gets ownership of the game, $500 billion. And so everybody becomes obsessed with his life so that they can try to figure out how he's hidden it. There are people who dedicate themselves to studying this guy's love and interests. So the book very, very clearly lines out how it's basically the 80s again.
Yeah.
The 80s is the pop culture of the future because everybody's obsessed with this guy's life, which is why references to the 90s and 2000s, there's occasional ones, but they're much, much less. Because the only pop culture anybody cares about is the 80s,
yeah.
because that's where all the money is. Whereas in the movie, first of all, the references are much more geared towards video games, whereas in the book it's spread out video games and music and TV and movies. There's still some movie references, but it's much more video games and it's 80s to today, which is fine. It's just a change. So that's the story of Ready Player One. Is our heroes are looking for this Easter egg before an evil corporation can get it, and basically fill the Oasis with ads, because ads are evil.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's our spoiler-free version. So spoilers. What'd you think, Russ?
It was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I liked the references I caught. I didn't catch a lot of the references because I think I have a very specific nerd taste that leans to Japanese things.
You could go through.
There was a Gundam. There was the Gundam that fought Mechagodzilla.
There was the bike from Akira.
So that was great. And there was the bike from Akira, and I saw Ryu and Chun-Li. And
There were some nice Buckaroo Banzai references. I
Yes,
appreciated
you're
that.
Super excited about that. My favorite part was The Shining. My absolute favorite part was The Shining.
And I could be wrong, but I don't think The Shining was in the book at all. They made drastic differences in the challenges, how to get the keys, how the keys work, and then the clues to the next key. They changed all of that to make it work better in a movie. Because in the book, it's a much longer process to figure out these things. But a movie doesn't have that kind of time to fart around. So, like, there's not a big race in the book, which is the first challenge. And the movie opens with everybody knowing the challenge. The winner of the race gets the first key. So, what did you think of the characters?
I liked them. I especially liked the main girl,
Artemis.
She's Emma from Bates Motel, so that was already a strike in her favor. Check in her column.
Why are you trying to check her column?
I just like her. I liked her story. I liked her little pixie avatar. I loved her in the dance scene when he's dressed like Buckaroo Banzai, and she has on this red dress and like flames shoot out of it while they dance. It was very pretty. It was like two little pixies dancing in the air.
It is a fun movie. I have in the past categorized that I think there are three main categories that movies fall into. Good movies, which are artistic movies with artistic merit. And while there is always going to be disagreement, we can generally agree, like The Godfather is a good movie.
It's like movies that everybody says, "Oh, I love that," and they probably haven't even seen it.
Sure. That's fair. Bad movies. Again, there's going to be disagreements about what deserves to be called a bad movie, but by and large, I think most of us can go ahead and look at a movie and say, "Oh, that's bad." John Carter, Jumper,
Glitter.
But
is that so bad it's good?
The third category is entertaining. These are movies that don't necessarily have artistic merit, but are fun to watch. You enjoy these, and I would argue most movies that we like fall into that third category. And this film definitely does. I'm not going to say that this film has great artistic merit. It's a fun story told well.
Yeah.
And yes, it does. People voice a lot of concern about the pop culture references overshadowing everything else, and I don't think that's the case.
I didn't really feel like that either. I didn't feel like,
I feel like that's a knee-jerk reaction that you could have to seeing it, like, oh, there's just, all it is a pop culture fan fest. First of all, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Second of all, there is a story here. There is a story with action and drama and risk.
Yeah.
So what if Wookiees are walking around in the background?
Yeah.
Like, what does that matter? What does that change? Also, I don't think there were Wookiees.
I did not see a Wookiee.
But you'd almost have to go frame by frame through this movie to catch all the references.
Martian from Looney Tunes.
I did. I saw him very briefly.
Yeah. And Batgirl.
Batgirl I saw a couple of times. There were so many characters. But again, they were mostly in the background, just walking across the screen. Blink and you'll miss it. All these different references. There was a Mad Max movie poster in the background that made me happy, because there weren't any Road Warrior references in it like there were in the book, which made me a little sad, because I love Road Warrior.
But yeah, I liked it. Like I said before, The Shining was my favorite part.
The Shining was
one
fun.
of the characters is super freaked out by horror movies, and the second key is found in this recreation of.
And he's the one who's never
movie.
Seen the movie.
Yes,
so
and so he follows the creepy twins down the hall.
He opens the elevator full of blood, escapes into a room with the chick in the bathtub.
It was so good. Like, that was the moment it really made it for me.
So, Steven Spielberg did a good job.
It's good. I agree. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. It's a movie that I might buy and just watch.
I think I might too.
Every
actually.
now
Get it
and
on
then
Blu-ray.
for fun.
Yeah.
And anybody who thinks that it has to be more than it is can just can eat it. I feel that way about like Jurassic World. I mean, it's not a good movie.
I did a WTF cinema of Jurassic World. It is not a good movie.
But I just want to see like
you're wrong for that.
Dinosaurs.
You're wrong.
Eating people and Bryce Dallas Howard running in heels.
Jurassic World is awful.
Shut up.
But the advantage here is, so Russ hasn't read the book yet. He's read like the first, I don't know, chapter or something.
I just started it.
But even though he's seen the movie, he's not that spoiled because the two have very different storylines. So it's going to be a completely different experience. And that's what I recommend to anybody out there who has either read the book or seen the movie but not done both. You should do both. They are two different experiences. It's roughly the same story, but there is so much more in the book. But the movie is so visually interesting. So it's two different experiences of the same thing. Also, just as a brief side note, I listened to the audiobook because I listen to a lot of audiobooks at work. And so instead of reading it, I listened to the audiobook, and it was read by Will Wheaton, who did a really good job. And
I'm gonna have to look into that.
It's actually fun because Will Wheaton is mentioned in the book once, since he's still alive at that point. He's some president of some section of the Oasis because him and Felicia Day, are nerd icons or whatever. So it was interesting to hear Will Wheaton reference himself in the third person. But he does a great job reading that book. In fact, as we were watching the movie and the opening voiceover, it sounded a little Will Wheaton-esque to me. Like I was, why couldn't they have gotten Will to do his voiceover? So there you go. Go see Ready Player One. It's a lot of fun. I recommend it. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too.
Do you want to give it a score?
B plus.
Yeah, B plus.
B plus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It didn't change my world, but I definitely wouldn't have a problem with seeing it again.
Definitely not.
Unlike Jurassic World.
Which I am not ashamed to admit I watch quite frequently, just in the background while I do other things, study or type or...
You're wrong for that, You're wrong.
I'm so right.
You're just wrong.
I'm so right.
All right, we'll see you guys later. I gotta set him straight.